Now, just for fun, I know you're thinking, this is fun. You know what? It is kind of fun. Once you get it, it's kind of very satisfying to know that you've got something that not a lot of other people know about. All right, it puts you kind of like in a class with only very few students, and don't sweat too much if it takes you time to get this. All right, I don't recall getting this the first time either. I had to learn this several times over and over again. I had to keep reteaching myself and going to lectures and reading books, and it took a while. All right, it's not magical for most people, and it wasn't magical for me either. But now it is. Now it's magical. Okay, you think of a factor that can only be between subjects. So it can only be, a different group of people in each level. Well, what about biological sex, right? You're either biological male or biological female. So we're going to exclude, there are some genetic mutations where you can have XXY or XYY. So excluding that, if we just look at people with the, quote unquote, normal genetic makeup, you're either XX or you're XY. You can't be both. So you can't be tested in both conditions. And there's other, things like, what if we look at, the state where you live in? You either live in Utah or you live outside of Utah officially. All right. So there are lots of factors that are between subjects. What about factors that can only be within? You have to test the same people twice. Well, I'm hard pressed to think what of a condition where you would have to test the same people twice. You might think, well, what about surgery? Before surgery, after surgery? Let's say appendicitis, okay, surgery for appendicitis. I could look at people before surgery and see how they do. Let's say it's on anxiety. And then I could test an entirely different group of people who have had the surgery and look at their anxiety. And I could compare them, even though they're different people, right? It could be between subjects. I don't think it should be done that way. I think we should look at the same group of people before and after, right? But I could, in theory, compare people who have not had the surgery with a group of people who have had the surgery. So I'm kind of hard pressed to think of what would be a within subjects factor that could only be within, right? There's always ways of, I think, making it between subjects, all right, and testing different people in each group. Now, we kind of want the factor to be within subjects because if it is, remember, these give us more power. So we can lower our error terms, get higher F values if we test the factors as within subjects. So you might think, well, let's always test the same people in each group. There is a problem though. If you, let's say, decide I'm going to make this person, test in every condition of my experiment, what if you have 8 conditions? That person may not want to be tested 8 times, right? I mean, maybe they're going to get bored, tired, angry, irritable, hungry. And there are other reasons why you don't want to keep testing the same person over and over again. Maybe they're going to figure out what the independent variables are and what the dependent variables are. And that can ruin your study, right? There's kind of a lot of reasons why we want to test within subjects factors and why we don't. And in classes like research design, that's where you kind of learn the pros and cons. In statistics, I'm teaching you which statistical tests are appropriate for each situation, but we really don't have time to go into when would you want to do it this way versus another way.